and welcome here to TalkFCB, and welcome back to the channel, guys. And that was absolutely perfect. We have been looking forward to this day for so long. We have been waiting for it to arrive. The return to the Spotify Camp Nou, and today we got a performance to match. Today, this was absolutely spectacular. What an occasion. The goals on display were extraordinary. Brilliant performances, individually especially. There's lots for us to discuss here, and it's so good. Everything is so nice that I don't even mind that my score prediction got ruined right at the end. We are happy with 4. We are delighted to win in this manner, so get yourselves ready. This is a celebration all together. So let's get to it. And if we do begin at the very beginning right here, guys, because I've got to say I was so surprised with the starting lineup. We actually did a video over on TalkFCB today, didn't we? Talking about the lineup right up until the game. Well, I don't think anybody expected what we saw, because I think initially when you see the team, when you look at who's out there, you're thinking, well, how is all of this fitting together? You've got Gerard Martin, where is Balde playing? A lot of the media before the game thought that Balde could even be starting here as a winger. Obviously, we had problems, we had issues there with midfield. We had no Frenkie de Jong, we had no Pedri, and of course no Gavi long term. And Flick did admit before the game that because we didn't have Frenkie, he had to find a way to secure that number 6 position. He also spoke there about the fact that Andreas Christensen and Araujo were away on international duty, especially Araujo had a long journey back there. He said it's not easy, and it was interesting that even before the game, Flick was talking about Tuesday. Flick was talking there about that Chelsea game to come. So even today, that was very much in his thinking, because when you're looking at the starting lineup, I thought in the end it worked absolutely perfectly, because we pushed Eric Garcia into midfield. I would say he was one of the most influential players out there today, and it's quite extraordinary, I've got to say, what he's been doing this season, whereby when he is called upon, doesn't matter if it's at right back, doesn't matter if it's a centre back, doesn't matter if it's in midfield, he just comes up and he delivers. It was really impressive there. Balde did start at left back. Gerard Martin played the first half there as a centre back, switched over in the second half there. Balde had to go off as a precaution and Araujo came on. But Flick doing things that we didn't expect, and maybe as a result of that, Athletic didn't either. But wasn't it amazing? Wasn't it absolutely amazing? The feeling of the players walking out again at the Camp Nou. I've got to say, the fans inside the stadium, they did come with all of their Blaugrana colours. It was so special to see that. The noise was great. The atmosphere was good. We also had a lot going on as well. We had goal songs today, guys. What did you think about that there? The tune that played after every goal went in, and we certainly got to hear it plenty of times today, which was nice. And the first time was thanks to Robert Lewandowski. And I've got to say, guys, big for him to get a goal. He was so brilliant against Celta Vigo, got that hat-trick, but he's got to keep following it up with more and more. I thought today right here, brilliant move from him. It's really sharp actually to get to the ball first, to get that touch that goes beyond his man. It was Eric Garcia actually who done some good work in the attacking half there. And Lewandowski, what he does here, he uses the element of surprise, because from this area, it's a tight angle. You don't really expect him to take on that shot as soon as he does. But he really surprises Unai Simon. He's not going to see it coming. He wasn't expecting it for sure. He's beaten there at his near post. Lewandowski strikes it with such venom, such pace on the ball. It's an absolutely wonderful finish. And that was just what we needed there to get us off to a nice start, to get the crowd really involved. And I love the celebrations today. Every goal, every player that was involved, they are loving this. You see them looking around at the stands. You see them there wanting to celebrate with the fans. They are loving being back at this stadium. And Lewandowski in particular, he's probably feeling as though he hasn't played here as much as he should have done. He's been at the club for several seasons now, but he is loving that moment. And what a goal it was to get us off and running. Big goal, 1-0. I would say that throughout that first half, though, there were a few chances here and there for Athletic Club, but I think what you saw from them is their real struggles in front of goal. I mean, Nico Williams, he had a bit of a tough day, didn't he, to be fair to him. Every time that he touched the ball there were whistles, there were boos from the crowd, so he probably didn't really enjoy himself too much. He had the best chance, I would say, for Athletic Club, right in front of goal, actually, cut back to him. He put put that one wide there. Big miss in front of goal. So Athletic Club, they weren't really able to cause Barca a significant amount of danger. But on the second goal, speaking about danger, Lamine Yamal. I would say up until that point, he'd actually been, relatively quiet by his standards. Obviously, we judge him differently to other players. He's always going to be involved. He's always going to be influential. But right here, he just arrives into the game. And just the assist is extraordinary. He does this so often, all the time. The outside of the foot. He makes it look so easy there. He just swings that ball effortlessly into the path of Ferran Torres, who's in on goal. I think he's got maybe too much time to think about it there. It's a long time bearing down on Unai Simon. In the end, he actually scuffs his finish. It's actually a bad finish from Ferran Torres. This is a poor goalkeeping mistake, I would say, right here. It just goes underneath him. He tries to rescue it, but he can't in the end. And what you'd have to say about that goal, along with the magical assist, the timing was huge. This was an absolutely massive moment to score and just shut Athletic out of the game, because ultimately they struggled to score. 2-0 down is a mountain to climb for them. And I think when you look around and you see a few of those reactions after that second goal went in, Athletic were deflated. They were really downbeat heading into half-time, 2-0 down away at Barca. It's a big task to come back, and that was huge from Ferran. Brilliant from Yamal, and Barca leading 2-0 at half-time. Because speaking about the mental effects there that goal, that second goal from Barca had on Athletic, I think you see that immediately in the second half of the game. I think already you see, immediately we pretty much score. It's 3-0 to Barca. They never got going. They never seemed to actually believe they're coming into that second half. And again, like I've said, Eric Garcia's there. He's everywhere today. He was picking up passes. He was certainly winning balls back there in really dangerous areas. And when you win it back here, it's fantastic. You've got so many options. You're so close to goal. He just slots it through to Fermin Lopez. And again, when Fermin right now is in this kind of area, he loves to pick up the ball here. He loves to just get onto any chances in and around the penalty area. He's going to finish it. That ball is going into the back of the net. He doesn't hesitate, smacks the ball home. It is 3-0 Barca. And again, just look at the celebration. Fermin Lopez, it's 3-0. Barca are comfortable, but he's running away to the stands. He's punching the air. He is absolutely elated to score this goal. All of his teammates are running over to celebrate with him. And it's just a different feeling. It's just a different vibe in this Barca team. Back at the Camp Nou, back in our stadium with all of our fans, it just feels different. It hits different. It honestly does. Because then, I think a real show, and the ultimate show really, of frustration from Athletic Club, it's Sunset. Now this for me, it was absolutely shocking, this tackle. And it's not even a tackle, is it? He doesn't make any attempt at all to play the ball. Fermin's on the ball. He just hacks him. He goes straight through him there. He absolutely clatters him, just kicks out, knee-high, and that is shocking. That is absolutely unacceptable here. And this is the kind of thing that if you did something like that in hockey, the rest of your teammates there, they would come over and absolutely smash him to the floor. Because quite honestly, I'm sad we couldn't do that here, because he puts Fermin in real danger. Yeah, he's angry, he's frustrated, he's 3-0 down, his team is going to lose the game, but that was a really poor tackle. And how the referee, by the way, gave the yellow originally, I just do not know. Thankfully they have some sort of help here. It was overturned in the end, the red card was given out, but yeah, Sunset there, losing his head, losing his cool, and ultimately losing the game badly. We then had some more whistles and some more boos for Nico Williams there. He was taken off after 55 minutes of the game, and like I say, wasn't really involved, didn't really do a great deal at all. I did think it was interesting though, when he came over to the bench, when he was closer to the fans who were giving him a bit of stick, there was a little bit of a wry smile. It was almost as though, well, fair play, it's understandable. I kind of expected it. I'm sure he would have today, given what has gone on the last 2 summers there, but Nico Williams not really having too much of an effect on the game. But it was a very different story when 10 minutes later, Robert Lewandowski was given a little bit of rest there from Hansi Flick. He comes over to the touchline. What an ovation. And again, this is what our players should be feeling there. This is the intimacy of the stadium whereby you can really let them know, you can give them big applause, big ovations right next to the field. Lewandowski will have enjoyed that. A standing ovation for him. And also then Fermin Lopez coming off to be replaced by Marc Asado. Again, I think that was probably a little bit of a precaution after that horror tackle that he did suffer. He did stay down for a little bit after that one. So yeah, Fermin Lopez coming off. My only question here would be, could we have rested Lamine Yamal? You're 3-0 up in the game, we were cruising, Athletic down to 10. The game was never in doubt from that moment on. Is this an opportunity here? Is this where Barca should be saying, okay, let's give him some rest. We don't need to play him for the entirety of the game, to leave him out there longer than maybe is required. But then you look at him and he's having a lot of fun, he's involved, he's clearly trying to score and he's clearly trying to help Barca get more and more goals. But it just depends really what side of this you are on right now. But yeah, more amazing reactions. Eric Garcia comes off, and I was glad about that one. I was really glad that the fans made it known how good he was today and how good he's been so far this season. Standing ovation for Eric Garcia. Big hug as well from Hansi Flick. He must be appreciating, he must really, really love having a player like Eric Garcia in his squad. So really, really important there for him. Marc Bernal coming on in his place. I was surprised maybe we didn't see him a bit more, a little bit earlier, possibly in this game. Obviously he didn't start it, but he does come on here and he's getting more and more minutes now under his belt as a Barca first team player. But in amongst all of this, the game did die down a little bit. There wasn't a huge amount going on. Athletic, like I say, had pretty much given up. But that's what makes this save from Joan Garcia even more impressive. He had to do absolutely nothing there in the second half. He could have gotten a good book out and read a few pages of that throughout the game, but he didn't. He stayed alert. He stayed very much switched on, so that when there was some danger, he dealt with it so well. And the brilliant thing about Joan Garcia, with his size, with his frame, he makes a save like that, which is not easy. That is a really athletic save there, to get up there and tip that over the bar. He makes it look so easy and simple. So Joan Garcia didn't have a huge amount to do, but when you did need him, he was sure to be there. So nice moment. And he did get a clean sheet. We spoke about it before the game. That was my prediction, and we did actually get one. Amazing stuff. Then we had Raphinha's return. We were all eagerly awaiting it. We were all looking at the bench thinking, when's he coming on? Is he going to start to warm up? The crowd went absolutely wild, didn't they, when he went out to warm up? He did get 10 minutes at the end of the game. He came on for Dani Olmo there, and very nearly did he have a spectacular entrance into the game. I've got to say, I thought it was in. I really did. I thought this would have been incredible. Raphinha comes on, takes on a shot from distance. That's the kind of thing that he brings to this team, that air of unpredictability, that far from goal. He has a go, and look at Unai Simon. Look at the way that he's looking there. He's hoping, please don't go in. I can't do anything. I can't stop this. Please don't go in. And he's very lucky, because this effort from Raphinha just about goes wide of the post. But great to see him back, and looking forward to him having more and more minutes as we progress. But there was still time, of course, for the icing on the cake. And the man, again, to provide it, the man who orchestrates it, making something out of nothing, it is Lamine Yamal. And this is just magic. He's picking the ball up here. There's literally nothing happening. There is no danger for Athletic Club. He makes danger. He is a creator of danger. He's weaving his way around challenges there. He's evading players. And as Ray Hudson used to say, you could follow him into a telephone box and he'd still emerge with the ball. It was wonderful stuff. It really was from Yamal. But not only that, then he's got the pass at the end of it. He's still got the vision. He's still got the foresight there to see that run from Ferran Torres, slips it into him, and this time, Ferran doesn't disappoint. Wonderful finish, this one, just dispatches it into the back of the net. Now, originally, it's chalked off, it's not given, but VAR had a look at it. It was onside. And again then, there was still a real effort to celebrate. Yamal is charging over to the fans. He's got Ferran Torres with him. And just such good feelings. Everybody right now looks so happy, motivated, driven. And there's a bit of confidence back in this team right now. I love the celebration as well with Ferran Torres polishing Lamine Yamal's boots. He understands today. He's got 2 goals, literally thanks to Yamal. It was absolutely wonderful from him, guys. But what a day it was. This is what we hope for. This is what we've been laying in bed every night going to sleep thinking, I really hope Barca win. I really hope Barca can return to their stadium with a great performance. Today we got that against Athletic Club, who are not always an easy team to face. This was not an easy game by any means at all. But we got the job done. And now the attention will turn to Tuesday night in the Champions League away at Chelsea. Please do let me know, guys, what you are feeling right now. Let me know your thoughts as well ahead of that game to come. What were the feelings like today? How did you feel watching the return to the Camp Nou? I will catch you soon. There will be more reaction coming, of course there will, on the channel. But thank you indeed for tuning in and for all of your great support. Have a great night and keep those smiles on your faces. But until next time, as always, Vesca, Real Barça.